some pickles.
Oh, mercy! It's okay. Cheeseburger, mustard, onions, and a pickle. Cheeseburger, mustard, onions, and a pickle. Cheeseburger, mustard, onions.
Oh, he got back in plenty of time. Plenty. And he didn't have to worry about supper. And she got to stay right where she wanted to be, on the kitchen table. Now that is a good and smart man who's somewhat close to a gourmet cook himself, so he's worried about food. People get crazy during emergencies. Oh, she's sprawled out on the kitchen table. What do I do about supper? What a question. But get this. Normal childbirth is pressing business, no doubt about it, but childbirth is no emergency. Women, we've been giving birth for a very long time. The joke is that midwifery is the second oldest profession. So this is my business. I am a midwife. And as a business, it's certainly not the short road to getting rich, but as a way of being of service in this world, there is nothing else in the world like it. Childbirth is, for me, the biggest mystery there is. Lives begin at the exit into the birth canal, and I'm there on the receiving. Now, I don't do births that look complex. I insist all my mothers have prenatal care, the sonogram, all of that. And if anything looks the least bit out of the ordinary, I send them to a hospital. I don't ever want to lose people. And sometimes a labor goes on long enough to where I think she needs to go to the hospital. So I insist. A cesarean birth isn't the end of the world. Women live through them now. They didn't used to. You know what used to happen? If a labor went on too long before anyone would do a cesarean, because that would kill the woman, a midwife or a doctor would take a hammer and chisel from their bag and break.
But the new one is such a fine thread. Oh, all right. Send Elizabeth.
This was the time I almost needed the hammer and chisel for. It's been 3 days. She's been in labor way too long. Let me call an ambulance. She'll go.
She goes to the hospital. She's no longer my wife.
Excuse me?
If she goes to the hospital, she's no longer my wife.
But she could die in that room.
I've told you this more than once. My religion forbids my wife going to the hospital. My religion forbids a doctor laying his hands on my wife.
Your religion is killing your wife.
God knows better than we do. God has a plan. And if it's God's will that I lose my wife, that I lose my child, then so be it. There, I've said it. Now abide by it. Please take care of it.
So he called me there to help her. And then he unplugged the phone from the wall and took it outside with him. I stayed with the woman. I couldn't leave her. If I'd had a hammer and chisel, I might have used it, but I didn't have those things, nor the real knowledge of how to do it. I mean, where do you place the chisel on the body? And how hard do you have to hit it? The baby, a girl, was born on the 5th day of intense labor. That poor woman was left so damaged, she never had another child. Ooh, that was one of my first jobs. Carry a cell phone now. Bought one early, you know, the black box that stayed in your car. I wasn't ever going to be someplace again where someone could unplug the phone from the wall and cut me off from help. But by the grace of God, that woman lived, and the baby was born. So, being born is everyone's first appearance in this world. It has been my great joy in this life to have been of some assistance in a few of those births. Dying is the final act. And there's all this stuff in between that makes up a life. A neighbor's child, a boy, was a friend of mine, and my dog was pregnant. Oh, it was a planned pregnancy. Everybody wanted her puppies. So one night after supper, she started into labor, so I called this boy to come watch. He had wanted to, and it didn't bother my dog. And so we're sitting there watching the puppies being born, 4 of them. And I noticed that this boy was absolutely astounded. He kept saying, "They're coming out alive. Look at that. This is better than the movies. They're alive." You know, I never said that out loud at the birthing of a child, but I thought it every time.